Hinkey votes are causing some Big Brother bubble drama. We're getting to the bottom of it on the Secret Alliance. Dani, it's kind of interesting to see what's happening with those two votes. We know one came from Enzo, the other came from Dani.
Right.
And people are freaking out, we saw in the episode Sunday night.
Right. I thought it was genius, first and foremost. I'm like, that is clever. The only issue with Dani is she already asked someone to do it. So it was quite obvious she was the one that did it. And as you know, in the game of Big Brother, trust is everything, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is Dani proclaimed that Nicole F was her ride and die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about you, Jason, but when you and I played together and you were my ride and die, you knew all my lies. I told you everything, right?
You told me what was happening, and you said, if this goes this way, no, I'm behind it, and here's why I'm doing it.
Right.
And that's what I don't know yet. We haven't seen if Dani is going to fess up to Nicole.
And she hasn't. According to the live feeds, Dani has yet to tell Nicole. In fact,
that's bad.
Dani, when they discussed it between them two, Dani cleverly tried to blame it on Bayleigh, stating that Bayleigh stole or took Janelle's jacket. And we all know Janelle gave that jacket to Bayleigh. So Dani's trying to stir the pot. But here's the thing. If Dani's, self-proclaiming that her and Nicole are tight, then why is Dani not telling her about the hinkey vote? So there has to be a trust issue there, yes?
Yeah, I would agree. I would think that there's something there that says either she believes Nicole will go tell it to other people like Cody, and she will. And Dani tried to sell Cody on that idea, and he said, no way. It really, in my opinion, would have been better game to abandon that idea for that particular week. There was no reason to do it that week if you were already in the spotlight. And Enzo would have done it. Well, what would have been interesting, though, is Enzo would have done it, and Cody, even if Dani hadn't done it, would have still thought that it was Dani. So that's pretty fascinating.
Exactly.
And I think Cody's on to how Dani sort of goes with an untruth or with gaming, how she handles it. So she got real upset, and Cody's like, I'm on to you. I'm on to you.
And one thing about Cody, once you are not honest with them or you cross them a certain way, he's pretty much done with you, right? So Cody's playing a really, really good game. A lot of people don't. What's funny is they don't give the second placers any credit. They always think that, they always give me credit that I played a game, but I tell anyone, I could not have done what I've done in season 3 without you, Jason. You were behind it, and we were a team. So if they think Derek or Dan or even Evil Dick, that if they think those people would have won those season without their ride and die partners in crime, they got another thing coming to you. And Cody is just as good as his game. Tyler's just good as his game. Dani, Memphis, you got all these second placers in there, and no one's thinking about, maybe we should go after them, which is crazy. Why waste time on Kaser, right?
Yeah, he's alone in there, and he's going to put a target on himself and away from somebody else. This is a week where it feels like they're just throwing away an HOH. That's just my opinion, but we'll see what they do. And there's still a veto. And so let's get everybody up to speed. At this point, we've got an Enzo HOH. He won that thing in the rolling the balls up the hill. I thought for sure.
I was stressed out.
I thought Ian was going to get this because he was like, science, it's cool.
Science. But then when Kaser did the multiple balls and 2 hit, and I was like, oh my God, Kaser's going to win this. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so close. And when he made it past the first round, it just felt like that energy, that desire, that passion to be in this game was still in him. And I love to see that. Win or lose it, I love to see that he was going to continue fighting, that it wasn't just this is my final week and I'm going to give up and be out of here.
No. And then the other thing on what I love when the people who are on the block are passionate to let's work a deal. And let's go back to Janelle. Janelle, when she offered Cody her wedding ring to stay and everything, that's what I'm talking about, Janelle. Janelle, she's a legend and she's a gamer. She's like, I'll give you my wedding ring. I'll do this. And she was trying to stay in that game. And man, kudos to her because she didn't lie down and she didn't throw her partner underneath the bus, but she said, this is what I can do for you. And the thing is, loyalty is so important in this game. And so one thing about Janelle and Kaser, people forget they are loyal. You know, once they make a commitment, they are loyal to people. They've never backstabbed or betrayed anybody. They've always been loyal and honest, right? So when they say, hey, I want to work with you, they really want to work with you.
They do.
It just boggles my mind.
And that's one of the things I want to ask Janelle when we get a chance to talk to her is, why don't people want to work with you? What do you think is happening there in this Big Brother 22 house where they feared her, or they were intimidated by her? I don't know. And I want her take on that. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping here. Janelle was going to be with us a little earlier in the week. It's going to be a Wednesday interview now. CBS has pushed all of that, but it does look like it's still happening, guys.
Hopefully.
So we're going to get those questions.
I got so much to ask her. I can't wait.
And we want to know about what's happening this new season. Janelle and her fans now have this term. I don't know who coined it, but they're fanels or
fanels. I like it. Or the queen. Oh,
yes.
yeah, the queen.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward. I can't wait to see her.
I know, and we have so many questions for her. We want to know what's going on, from her read in this house, because I think she's got a good read on it. Whether she was able to turn it in her favor or not, she understands what's happening in that house now after all of these weeks that have happened. So we've got an Enzo HOH. I don't know what he's thinking right now, other than he put Kaser as easy and he put Kevin up. But he said, I'm going to shake it up. I'm going to get blood on my hands. This is going to be a wild week. And it felt very predictable by the time we saw his nominations.
So here's the thing about Enzo. I ran into Enzo some Vegas reality event. And I said, my God, the fact that you did the brigade and all that stuff was amazing. He asked me, he said, if I was to play it again, do you give me any advice? And I looked at him, I said, you got to be more cutthroat and vicious. I said, I understand you had a big alliance, but you should have turned around and thought, can I win against this person? Can I win against that person? So you're going to have to be more vicious. And he goes, all right. I said, gotta cut him out. He said, I'll do it. I said, I'm serious, Enzo. And that was years ago. Yeah. I don't know if he took it to heart.
It's in the back of his mind. He's thinking about it. He's like, oh, yeah, Dani said.
Like, why would Enzo want to take a Cody and Tyler so far in the game? Because it's comps, right? Mm-hmm. It's games. You got to win competition. So the house guests have to start thinking about who can they beat in competitions, right? And if Enzo thinks for one, like you got Kaser and you got Kevin? It's just like, come on. And Dani's just waiting, because once Dani gets that win, God help them, because she's going to turn on all of them quickly, very quickly.
I think you're right. I think she is going to find ways, and if it's not even with her doing it as HOH, if she can get someone else in power and help try to move it in favor of getting rid of some of those strong power players, especially the guys, because she knows that if they get down to that core 3 or 4, where you've got a Memphis and a Cody and a Tyler and maybe an Enzo in there, they really are going to be unstoppable in this game.
They're going to be unstoppable. And it's just, especially with the competition that we see. I mean, can a woman win something? Good Lord. Can we win something?
Maybe the power of veto this week. Maybe a woman will win it and can do something to shake this game up. Because if we saw Kaser get pulled down, if the POV was in play and Kaser was not going home this week, what would you like to see Enzo do? What would be an ideal scenario for you, Dani? And I'll weigh in on what I'd like to see happen.
So if Enzo knows that, so the couple things, if Enzo and Party, the New Jersey boys know about Dani's double dipping and she's whispering and stuff like that, they need to backdoor her. They need to get rid of her, because then what they don't understand is like chess. You have to weaken certain players' support first before you go after them. So if Dani has support from Nicole and Nicole has support from Ian, you got to break those people away. They're all worried about Bay and Day, but they don't need to worry about Bay and Day. They need to worry about Dani, Nicole, and Ian. As much as I love Ian won the game, and they really need to make a move now. That would be the best bet, and people will be aboard of that, because you don't want to be sitting there time after time, and these people are they're gonna finally wake up and start playing, and then you're like, oh dang, I had a chance to get rid of them. And
that's what they need to do, is to play, because I'm with you. If I were Enzo and I had an opportunity for the nominations to change, I would be looking to backdoor a power player. And I think Dani's a good one right now because she is doing so much in this game. And she is one who all of a sudden they're going to look up and they're going to go, oh, we'll get to her next week. We'll get to her next week. We'll get to her next week. And then she's going to have won this game. And I think the other options would be the previous winners. You've got an Ian and a Nicole in there. They know how to get to the end. They know how to win this game. Right. They are dangerous on that information alone. Not to mention they've got all these side alliances and these things. And Ian is so well liked. I want to see him for a long time. I think he's fun to watch on television.
I love him.
He's so quirky. But I also, if I was in there, would know that that's a guy I got to go after.
You got to go after Ian, yeah, because he's that smart, and it's just a matter of time. And if Enzo, he has a chance to, he said, I want to make a power move. You're like, okay, well, make a move. Why go after Kaser, who has nothing? Yeah. He is dead in the water, right? Just leave him there and go after these other players. Enzo said time and time again, he said, we gotta make a move. Well, make a move, Enzo. We're waiting. Make a move.
Make that move.
Move.
Do you think Enzo's ever going to fess up to some of the guys he's closest to about that hinky vote this week?
He will probably at the very end, like he did with Brittany when he told her about the brigade. Poor thing.
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm surprised Enzo hasn't confessed to his coach. That's why I'm thinking, like, you threw a hinky, you're not going to tell anybody. So that tells me that no one trusts anybody in this house.
But they shouldn't. If anybody's watched any season of Big Brother, very few times do people remain loyal and keep that information close to them. They get that little nugget and they're figuring out ways to leverage it. And they're on to the next to tell them, hey, Enzo told me that he did this. And then they start tearing down their own group. And so I think it's in Enzo's best interest. I think it's in Dani's best interest. Just keep it quiet. But she is in a really bad spot right now because Cody suspects.
Yeah, she blew it because she asked him to do it.
Although let's talk about
who
could get that hickey vote thrown on them is David. I mean, his response when they quizzed him on it was like, he had never heard of the eviction process in the Big Brother house, that he knew eviction night was even happening.
I don't know
that it had just happened hours earlier.
I don't know if his brain is just
what?
Yeah. Like he frustrates
me so much. He was so confused about everything.
I was confused. He's one of those people you ask a question and you're like, wait a minute. Oh, now I'm confused. No, wait. I played this before. I know what I'm talking about.
And
did you vote yes or no?
I don't think you answered. Yeah, I don't think there was an answer in there.
I don't think you have an answer.
Maybe that makes enough people suspicious of him and they move along and saying,
if he would have just answered quickly and like, no, I didn't vote, you got to be quick.
Yeah, but you've got to be a little bit quicker. You can also take your time to process something if you don't understand it, but you ask a question about that. You just, wait a minute, what are you guys talking about? And they go, well, the vote was 2 to whatever. And then in that time you're going, oh, okay, but here's my crafted response. But he was just like, eviction? What eviction? Who's gone? Where are we?
Like, who are we? Yeah. I was like, David, you're on Big Brother. Yeah, you're not on Love Island. You're not on Love Island. You're on Big Brother. I need you to focus, man.
So we need more out of him, or he needs to be gone because he is such a wild card and he's going to mess up somebody's game. Someone who's bringing him along in this game is going to be in turn wrecked by him, because that's what always seems to happen is like, oh, this person's not a threat. We're going to bring him along. I can control him. And then he goes, I think Tyler's onto him. So that's good for Tyler's game. I think there are a few other people who go, okay, he might tell our secrets if we reveal them to him. So he's on a need to know basis. And
nothing. He won't know nothing.
And he's going to get no information.
Nothing.
Which, Tyler knows now. And I really do believe, and Tyler's got a good game going, that even though it got blown up a little bit by David, I think he's going to go, I'm not saying a word to David. He gets no more information. Nothing. It is on a need to know basis and he doesn't need to know. And that's going to be really good for Tyler moving forward. But I think David wants those guys to like him. And do you think that's interesting that he really wants to be in that group? It feels like he's trying to prove his loyalty to those guys.
I think it's, I think he's trying, but I don't think he doesn't know how to.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to because he doesn't speak. And when he does speak, it doesn't make any sense. So it's, I'm just really disappointed in his game. I can't even I was hoping that he's going to be this mastermind, but I'm just profoundly disappointed. Yeah. I can't even comment on David. Let's talk
about. And
I
will say this. Have you met him? Did you meet him at any of these events?
I've never met him.
Year? Okay. He was here for the charity event in Orlando. I got to say hi to him for a second. And I said, it was great watching you on the show. It was so short. We don't really know you. And I said, but your passion level with that return competition, I said, I was feeling it for you. You were who I was rooting for. And he was really nice and really engaging there. But, in that quick moment, you don't know how to get a read on somebody. You're like, they're a nice person. They're engaging for that split second. But the time now being in this house, it's showing he doesn't know how to play the game of Big Brother. And it's hurting him.
Maybe at the very end, he's going to be like, I fooled all you guys. I watched all 22 seasons of Big Brother. I'm capable. I know everything. I forced got my way to the final 2 and just fooled all you guys. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know. But let's talk about, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Let's talk about one other thing that something's brewing with me. So did we not see the little line, the line drawn in the sand between Bayleigh and Dani when Bayleigh put Dani on slop? Yeah.
You think that was the sign to Dani?
Yeah, because when Dani goes, I'm coming after you, I'm like, she ain't lying, Bayleigh. She is coming after you hard and strong. That's why she did that hinkey vote. She's trying to throw Bayleigh underneath the bus. She said some things, about Bayleigh on a personal level, trying to get, the pot stirring. But Bayleigh is such a good spot because I know Enzo and them really respect Bayleigh. On a personal level, I know Kaiser likes Bayleigh. I know they have some conversations between them, but Bayleigh's going to
we need to talk about that. That was powerful.
That was powerful with the Davon and everything. I will say, watching those two interact, I'm like, Bayleigh, you got to win an HOH because she is not playing. When she pointed and said, I'm coming after you, that was truth. She may be lying, but that's truth.
I want to know who Bayleigh's getting information from. That's one of the things that we still really don't know yet. Is she talking to Cody? Is she talking to anybody in that group there and finding out some of the things that are making them nervous about Dani? Or has she's just reading the room. She feels like Dani's not talking game with her, and that's where she's drawn that line in the sand.
I think Bayleigh's in a good spot because she forges personal relationships with everybody. But there is a disconnect. It does seem like there's the Nicole F and Dani against Day and Bay. And that's what I see coming. So I have a sneaky suspicion that if one of those ladies win HOH, they're probably going to go after each other.
Okay.
And leave those guys in, unfortunately.
The guys are sitting pretty right now as some other things are happening in the house that are creating drama. And again, they are having the focus pulled away from them. They're going to go through another HOH here and they're coming out squeaky clean. It's really wild as I sit and watch it.
Right.
I want to talk about what we were just bringing up a moment ago, that Kaiser had a great conversation with Davon. They sat and they had a discussion about religion, and then it became this personal conversation. And I just think it was something that Kaiser ended it saying it was important to have.
Right. And it was when you watch that, it's not so much words and protesting. That's great. But what are we going to do now going forward? Right. And he says, action speaks louder than words. We got to take action and we got to do things. And I just empower people that there's things we can do in our communities to better have a better understanding of what's going on. But, everyone has to be kind and be human. But at the same time, you got to vote. So I don't, everyone complaining about what's going on in our nation, vote. You got to vote. So you either get out and vote or shut up. I'm sorry. And so everyone needs to vote. And then at the same time, what are you guys are going to do to make sure and take ownership that you do something and stand up and go above and beyond what's happening in our society, right? Yeah. So I know for me, there's a lot of things I want to do to contribute to my community to make sure we do things positive and do some more community outreach. I'm not going to sit up here and post things on Twitter and do this. I'm going to take action as an African-American woman in my community, and I'm going to see what I can do to better the lives of people in my community and that people are educated and understand the diversity that's happening in our world, period.
I love it, Dani. Thank you. And I'm glad that this type of conversation is happening this season on Big Brother.
It had to be had. Yeah.
It's so needed. And it's great. And it's some of the moment that you remember in the episode. It's like, I'm not going to remember that competition and the ball rolling and the thing that Kaser rolled 2 balls at once in the first round in a few weeks from now. But you will remember how you felt as you watched that conversation. You went and heard 2 people. And yes, there are a lot of differences, but there are similarities. And the biggest is that we're all just people. We're humans.
Right. We're all people and we're just human. We have to be human and we have to be kind. And I keep saying that. I know it's tough, but you guys, it's not that serious. It's better we've lost some great people. Chadwick, we lost Kobe, we lost other people in society. And you got one life that you can impact. Or what are you going to do to make sure you're going to have a legacy of positivity in your life, right? So I just want people to remember that.
And it's good to remember that while we're talking about Big Brother, because that's just a game. It's a game, but the life that we live is what's so important. And that we live it well and that we live it with positivity and kindness. I love that, Dani. That's some good stuff.
All right.
You took it out of the Big Brother game and like to church a little bit here, Dani. It's good.
Oh, hallelujah. Glory to God. Who's the bubble tie?
Dani, we got to talk about what we want to see happen here. We want the power veto to push this game forward. We want something exciting to take place in the next few days. I want to see Kaser stay a little longer. I want to see this hunger for the game take over, so we can, avenge the eviction of Janelle, possibly.
I know. I'm trying to think what Big Brother happened in some foreign country. I can't remember who it was. But the person that got evicted, they took her, she's walking down the hall with her suitcase, and they called her on the intercom and said, hey, you're not out of the game. And they pushed her, they made her go into a secret room that she was stationed in, and then she was going to be put back into the game. That would be idea if they told cool. Kaser, we're going to put you in the secret room. You're still in the house, but you're in the secret room, and we're going to introduce you back in the game. That would be amazing. But that's wishful thinking. Yeah. I'm just like a fan like everybody else. But
yeah, I know. And that's what people were so wanting with, from week 1, from Keisha, then Nicole and now Janelle, that they would be returning to the game. But it really does look like, guys, they've gone home. It's over for them. Mm-hmm. At this point, I don't see this happening. I think that it's over. The game ended for those 3, and likely for the next person. And then we start getting closer and closer to jury.
Let me ask you this: do you think Enzo threw that vote in because if Janelle came back, he would have been like, that was me that voted for you to stay?
Oh,
I'm just saying.
I mean, it's anything possible. It's possible. Anything is possible at this point in the game because we don't know what the house guests are thinking. Because even though we get some information from them in the diary room, sometimes we don't know everything. And that's something I would love to hear him say to a camera one day, or for them to ask him in the diary room, so that we know what he was thinking with that one vote.
Like, why
honestly,
did you do it?
I just think he was trying to stir up some drama and get something going for the wild chance that he became HOH this week, and then somebody else had a target on him other than him.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I personally would play the game as if someone was coming back. So if that person's being evicted, I'm like, you want some breakfast? You want a sandwich? You want me to help you pack? You good?
I'm doing all the things.
I'm doing all the things because if you go back, you know that I took care of you.
Those last few days are crucial. And when they go, you know what? If I came back in here, I really could have worked with so-and-so. I wish I would have played differently. And that's smart. That is good game on Enzo's part. If he had that type of long game in mind, I just don't know. All right. Quick look at those players. Dani, who do you think right now is just sitting pretty? And I know anybody could end up on the block at any time, but I mean,
now it's Cody.
We got players we're not talking about.
Cody,
Christmas. Come on.
Well, Christmas, and Enzo likes Christmas too. So, you got Cody, Tyler, and Christmas are pretty, I think those 3 people are sitting pretty. The Bay and Day thing, because they consider them a couple, that's going to be difficult for them to overcome. They have to win an HOH. Oh God, please Jesus, let them win. I need them to win an HOH. Day has never won an HOH. I want her to win one, so it'll be interesting. So I think those three are in perfect positions right now, because I think those guys are going to bro out, yo.
Bro out.
They're going to bro out. They're going to have a little man. Like, it's coming.
Yeah. They've got the bromance going. They're going to bro out. That's a new term that I think should be coined for BB22. But so many seasons we've seen the guys bro out.
They bro out. When will y'all ladies learn to get? Yeah. When you ladies are going to learn to alpha males? You see them win, boom, 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 bro out. Memphis is in a really good position too.
Yeah, we're not talking about him this week. Wait, he's still in the house, Dani? He's still in. Yeah, Dad is still there. I call him Dad. Dad is still there. So he's in a really good position too. I'm worried about Ian. I'm really worried about him because I don't think he knows how much he's in jeopardy yet. I think he thinks he's so secured with Nicole that he's not in jeopardy, but his name keeps coming up. And eventually, Memphis is going to take a swing at him because Memphis said, he beat, he beat Dan. I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm sure Dan told Memphis, whatever you do, don't let that Ian get past week, whatever it is. Because I know Dan, people don't remember. Dan had Ian going out the door. And Ian, if y'all remember, Ian put his hands together and was praying to the heaven Father above to win that POV. And that fool came through and won. And he was going home. And next thing you know, he wins what? He wins the $500,000. So. Right. And that's what I love about this game is that can happen. We need for this week's Power Veto to go that way. And then we need that next HOH to really change the power. Because these guys are so powerful, that group of 4 guys and then a couple of the ladies in the house.
Yeah, because the ladies they're not working well together. They're not playing nice in the sandbox per se. I just want CBS to get us fans involved in some way, somehow.
Okay. We talked about it the other day with James. We want something like that to happen.
We want to get them in.
We want to get involved. We want to play. Let's create
a third nominee. Let's do something. Come on. We will do it.
CBS, let us in the game. Let us in the
game. We want to play something. Or America's Favorite or something.
Yeah. That would be really fun because the challenges really did create something that was special that season. I feel like, and have we done America's Player more than once?
We did twice. We had
twice. Okay.
Derek group.
I remember Derek's team.
And what's his name?
Some of the
Eric.
Okay, and Eric did it. Okay.
In season 8, he was America's Player.
But don't you remember how much fun it was when Derek, had him thinking there was a rat in the house in the storage room, some of the crazy things that could happen. It was so good.
It was so good.
Really made
it's so good. I think was it Cody on the chair?
Yeah.
He totally lost all his manhood. He lost his mind. He was such a little beezy up there, scared of a rat. It was so funny. I would have lost my mind too. I'm not playing.
And they played it up and they had some fun and it was such a good time. And just let us decide some of those crazy things. CBS, America wants to get involved. We want to be in the house. The control is in one hand, but Dani, we know that all it takes is it to shift. And we could see a totally different game where you've got Tyler, Enzo, who's with it, Cody, and in Memphis running scared if someone else got the power. And I know that Kevin is being put up as a pawn, but let's just say if he got power in the next week, if he survives this week where he and Kaser are up against each other and Kevin's not the one to go home and he got power, I think that he might be somebody who could shake it up. I also look for, somebody else to shake it up in the house. And we've said Bay and Day. But I just need those people to be rooting for and putting good vibes out for just a little bit more drama in this game right now.
David, I'm even okay if David wins HOH.
You'll take it? I'll take it.
Because at least I know something's going to be shaken up. So we need a shakeup. So we're in week, 4 now?
Yeah.
I believe an endurance comp should be introduced this next coming HOH for sure.
It's coming soon for an HOH. If not this week, it does come up really soon here where we've got an endurance.
Who wants it more? Who wants
and that's
it more?
that's what it comes down to in an endurance comp. Who wants it bad? Who's in trouble? And then some wheeling and dealing. And I love that in an endurance comp.
Oh, yeah.
When you can wheel and deal.
And people start talking. That's when Davon knew Nicole F. betrayed her on the last endurance comp that they played together. It's going to be interesting. So this is going to be I need something to happen. If Enzo's not going to make a move.
So that's your prediction. You don't think he's going to have to make a move?
I think he has to, but he won't.
Okay.
He just won't.
All right. And then what I think too, people need to watch for, if there's an endurance HOH comp, and we're still a little ways away from that, but if there's an endurance comp for HOH, I think that people need to watch for who is cheering for who from the sidelines and what kind of encouragement they're giving to certain people, because that's very telling about who your alliance partners are. Because when they're sweating it after they've already fallen off the thing, and they're cheering for that one person or a couple of people, right then and there who's lined up. And there's a lot that you can learn in that. And,
And you have, if you're a great player, a good player, you show no emotion. Like when you won HOH, I was like, oh, that's good. Good for you, Jason. But I'm in the back, I'm like, woo! I was so happy.
We're high-fiving and cheering.
High-fiving.
In separate diary room sessions. But
separate diary rooms.
You can't do that where you run in the backyard and you hug and you jump up and down and cheer.
It's not Super Bowl. You know, it's just like you got to be quiet.
Yeah, you can't do the celebration in the end zone because it shows your cards. And that's one thing that we did a really good job of in our season. I think, we'll toot our own horn for a second, but we held our cards very close to the vest.
Right.
And that worked for us. And I think that's where Dani's downfall might be in this game, is she is telling people too much about her game. She's telling Cody that I might throw a hinkey vote in. And then when it happens, he sees that. And other people,
denied.
as she's trying to bring people's names into the game.
She should have been honest. Yeah. Like, you're supposed to be in alliance with somebody. He asked you a question and you lied. He's not stupid, yo. She's her game. Dani's game is starting to spin out of control. I thought she was in a good spot, but after what I'm seeing on live feeds and what they're saying, I think Dani's in trouble. She's in big trouble.
All it takes, as we know, in this house would be a move or a couple of moves, and someone who's sitting pretty and who's working this and seemingly controlling things can end up in a really bad spot. And that does appear to be the situation for Dani. Oh, it's going to be interesting when we get to that power veto competition and we get some shakeup in the house. Hey, we always leave with the dance. So Dani, why don't you ask me? I'll play the role of David when we get him in here. And you ask me about the dance. Ask me my favorite move, my David move.
So what's your favorite David? What am I asking you?
A David dance move.
Give me your favorite David dance move, Jason. I got to see it.
Wait a minute. What's a dance? Where's it? Who's David?
The dance?
No, we're just picking. We're having a little fun with you, David. Just because this week it was a classic moment in BB where
it's a Forrest Gump.
You had a moment to shine, to build some trust, and we were rooting for you. We're rooting for you, man. Get in that game. Come on.
All right. It's okay. Let's let it go. Let's get it out. It's all good. Next season. I can't wait to open my envelope to show you who I picked.
Who is going to win this game? I know I've got my envelope ready. I will say my player's still in it, Dani.
I would say my player's still in it too, Jason.
It's good.
Getting good. All right,
We'll see you next time on the Secret Alliance.
Bye.